Hi, wanting to talk about what's in future for Indigenous Britons when Indigenous Britons eventually become a minority in Britain. Uh, so I just want to clarify what Indigenous Britons are. It's people that have been here. They look like me. It's people that are whose ancestors have been here for centuries, so they all look like me. So areas in Great Britain where Indigenous Britons are the minority. I recently went for an interview at Oxford University, and when I was in Oxford, I went to, is it Blackbird Leys? There's a tower block in Blackbird Leys that's called the Windrush Tower Block. Tower Block. It's named after the boat that brought the first generation of immigrants from the West Indies to the UK. Many of the first generation of these people live in Oxford in Blackbird Leys. So Blackbird Leys, Indigenous British people are not in the majority. And guess what? That area has got the highest crime, violence and drug dealing. It's notorious in Oxford. So that's one example of an area where Indigenous Britons are in the minority. Let's look at South London. Some areas that come to mind: Brixton. Uh, Indigenous Britons are in a minority there. It's predominantly people from the Caribbean, uh, Peckham, Peckham Rye, Camberwell, other districts, and yet again the crime there is endemic. The violence is endemic. If you look at the culture in which non-Indigenous British people live in these areas, it's shocking. Uh, Jump to the East End of London. Again, Indigenous Britons are in the minority. Again, crime and violence is rampant. Look up to. I lived in Manchester for a few years. I lived next door to an area called Moss Side. When I lived there, it was called Little Africa. It was unsafe for Indigenous Britons to go in there. I was told to avoid it. Uh, some non-Indigenous Britons, like my friend, lives in Islington. Islington, she says, Islington is really nice, but 5 minutes down the road, you've got the Romanians and another European group. Yet again, non-Indigenous Britons who the Indigenous Britons living in that area, their life is they're avoiding crime. My friend said it's like the Romanian drug gangs and another. I think the Russian mafia are just like crime is endemic. So this is a small example of what's going to happen when Britons, Indigenous people from our culture become a minority. Okay, bye.